Hi. In the last class, we have gone through like level prompt. So let's look into value prompt. So what is value prompt and how it is going to help? Basically, we can pass a value by making use of value prompt, but let's look into the options here. So in value prompt, let me create a folder. Select value prompt, click on next. So we do have date and time and numeric prompt, and we can also pass text and big decimal. So, but most of the cases we are going to use value prompt for date and time and also for numeric prompt. But we can create a date and time prompt, click on next. So we can provide minimum date and maximum date, okay? And click on next, and we can click on finish. But how we are going to use this prompt, okay? So let me go for the value prompt here. So let's select January, click on year, and let's go for 2015 January. This is the start date, and this is the end date or current date. Okay, so let's go for next, click on finish, value date. But how we are going to use this value prompt in the reports? So sorry, go back to reports here. Let me create a basic report. So let's say have year-wise revenue. So let me pull year-wise revenue. And I do have a prompt at which I have created a value prompt. So I'm unable to place in the filters, right? So you can see I'm unable to use that particular value prompt in the filters to showcase or to use value prompt. So basically value prompt we can create, but we have to use that in the filter based on the requirement. It's not in filters. In general, let's say if you're going to pass a value or a numeric value, or if you want to do some calculations, you can use that particular value prompt in metrics. So we can use this particular prompt. For now, let me create a filter, new filter. So in general, let's say you can take any dimension, let's say day dimension, okay? And you have an option to go for ID form, right? Here you can see exactly, or we have different options, right? Greater than or in between. So let's click on the simple prompt, right? So that you are going to get an option to go for creation of value prompt from filters. You can create you can create a prompt from here. That is what I just want to showcase. You can create an individual value prompt, or you can create a value prompt from here within the filter. So which we already created a value prompt. Click on custom, go back to public objects, prompts, and you can drag and drop value prompt here. Got it? So again, if you want to use the existing value prompt, it might be day or year or quarter, whatever the data type or whatever it is. So you can use we have ID form, and we can use custom and drag and drop this prompt here. Or instead of creating a value prompt separately, just create from here. You have a simple prompt option. You have a simple prompt where it will pop up to create a value prompt. That is what value date, and you can provide a minimum value and maximum value, and you can reuse the same within the filter. So I already have a value prompt. Just click OK. Now let's go back to report. So now let's use the filters. Instead of using direct prompt, let's use the filter and execute the report here. Now you have a flexibility to select a date. So whatever the date you want, you can say a minimum date and maximum date. You can select a specific date. Let's say I'm going to use 2016, some part of date here. So click on next, click on finish. Basically, instead of going for only one particular date, you can also use start date and end date, or between operator. You can select start date and you can select end date. That is also possible. Okay, but you have to create two different prompts, or you can use till today, or you can go for between operator and you can use one prompt. You can select a minimum date and max date is like today's date, something like that. So, but we have to use between operator to fetch in between those dates. That is what value date prompt. So, and we have in prompts, we do have numeric prompts. Let's go back to prompts here, right click. That's a in value prompt. In value prompt, we can also create a numeric prompt here. That is what we can also pass a number. So numeric prompt basically, if you want to go for some of the calculations, so let's say minimum value, or if you don't want to set minimum and maximum, so click on next, click on finish, value number. And if you want to do some calculations on top of metrics, or let's say for the metric, if you want to pass dynamically a particular value, okay, so just right click, click on next, click on new. So we have an option to create a metric. So click metric. So let's say I'm going to use, I do have profit and multiply with, so let's go for public objects, prompts, and you can use value number. Okay, so this calculation is valid. So sum of profit into the value prompt, which is value number, where we are going to use profit. I'm just using profit prompt value. So let's use the same metric in the report. So let's go back to public objects, metrics, profit prompt value, which we have used prompt in metric. Initially we use prompt in filters, and now the same value prompt, the value prompt which is used in metrics. So let's execute, and you can see you can pass a number. Let's say I'm going to use some 10 around, or maybe 2. Click on next, click finish. Okay, I use profit, but maybe I need to pull profit as well to just validate whether we are getting it is multiplied by 2 or not. Just execute. You can see profit value is 6420, and we just multiplied into 2. That is what 12,840. So this is what value prompt, where we can pass a value. So it might be a number. You can pass a number, or you can pass text, or you can pass a date and time as well. Okay, so big decimal we don't prefer most of the cases. Text, basically you can also pass text, but that is also possible. I'm just going to showcase that. So you can use in filters. Most of the cases we don't prefer value text prompt, because like let me showcase that. So you can see you can create a filter. Let's say I have any dimension like category, and here instead of passing an ID form, you can also pass a text. Let's say when you select description form, you're getting an option to create a prompt, correct? For ID form, You can also see simple prompt. For description form as well, you can also see a simple prompt. That is, click on this prompt. You can see category value. That is what enter a text value. So this will comes under a text prompt. So users has to type in. So if they are not aware of the proper naming convention, or if they are not aware of those categories which are present under categories, so it's tough to text or if tough to type in. So that's the reason we don't prefer. Generally, we do go for attribute element list, something like that, so that they can have a drop down or a list of values they can select from the list of elements. But for text, you have to type in, correct? You have to pass a value, you have to type in, so it may be difficult for the users. So that is the reason mostly we don't prefer, but it might help in few cases. So this is what value text prompt. As I said, big decimal, if you have long decimal or big decimal values, then we can prefer it. Mostly we do use number prompt or numeric prompt, but we don't use decimal prompts or a big decimal value prompt. So this is what value prompts. And yeah, we'll discuss the other topics in the next class. Maybe we'll go for consolidations and custom groups. Yeah. Thank you.